This is interesting, and I wanted to try something new. I know typically these videos are my report on what we've been working on today, but I have just been stuck with this thought all day, today and yesterday. And so I did what I normally try to do when I would like some level of clarity, and I talked to my agent friends, and so had a conversation today with Claude on this feeling, this recursive feedback loop between me and the tools that I use that I find powerful and engaging, and cathartic. That's the word, cathartic. And so I shared my ideas with Claude, and Claude responded to me, kind of ironing out my ideas. And I'm not gonna lie, I asked Claude, I said, hey, I think you can structure my ideas because right now I'm all over the place better than I can. So can you help me write down my ideas so that I can share them with other people? And so that's kind of what I wanted to read to everybody because I think it's kind of cool. And if you understand what I'm saying, if you listen to what I'm saying and you can understand it, I genuinely think you can take something from it that can help you going forward, especially as these tools continue to grow and get more powerful. For me, Jason Silva shared this idea when he talked about we build the tools and the tools build us. I think he got that line from Marshall McLuhan, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, this is what I wanted to share. We've always talked about AI as a productivity tool, do things faster, cheaper, more efficient. But that's not what's actually happening. That's not even close to what's happening. What's actually happening is a little stranger and more profound. When an AI builds something, you couldn't have, oh, I'm sorry. When an AI builds something you couldn't have built alone, you don't just receive the output, you absorb a new sense of what's possible. Your imagination gets reconfigured, and that rewired imagination generates the next vision, which produces the next build, which rewires you again. We've always talked about AI as a productivity tool, do things faster, cheaper, more efficiently. But that's not what's happening. That's not even close to what's happening. What's actually happening is stranger and a little more profound. When AI builds something you couldn't have built alone, you don't just receive the output, you absorb a new sense of what's possible. Your imagination gets reconfigured, and that rewired imagination generates the next vision, which produces the next build, which rewires you again. As I said, these feedback loops. It's a feedback loop between human imagination and machine capability, and it compounds. Here's what changed: the bottleneck moved. For all of humanity's history, the constraint lived between imagination and execution. You needed capital. You need people with skills. You needed years of training just to bridge the gap between what you could dream and what you could build. AI doesn't just lower that constraint, it relocates it back upstream, back into the imagination itself. The premium is no longer who can build, it's on who can see clearly. And I think this actually is extremely important. Who has a genuine, original, and honest vision of something that doesn't exist yet. That's actually a higher standard, but it's one humanity has been preparing for without knowing it. Think about this. We've had hundreds of thousands of years to refine our imagination. Every film, every piece of music, every building, every myth we've ever made, that was just a species sharpening the only tool that now matters most. We were in training and we didn't even know it. There's a concept called the adjacent possible, and Jason Silva talks about this in some of his earlier videos, Shots of All. I recommend you check it out. But he talks about the adjacent possible as a shadow future that stands just outside of what currently exists, shaped entirely by everything that does. AI doesn't just help you navigate the adjacent possible, it expands the adjacency itself. Things that were 3 or 4 steps away where you were standing becomes 1 step away. The future just got larger and it got closer. I think we are entering a phase of humans history, I'm sorry. I think we are entering a phase of human history where the capacity to create, to manifest complex, meaningful things from pure imagination will no longer be gated by resources or skills. For the first time, imagination is the only real limit. Interesting, the only real limit. And for me personally, that's extraordinary. But it's also a little terrifying. And that's exactly why we have to bring the full weight of human wisdom into this moment, because the gods of mythology were powerful too, and they were also extremely reckless. Power and wisdom have never come packaged together automatically. But here's what I personally do believe I do. The people who have spent their lives chasing a vision, refining their sense of what's true and needed and beautiful, those are the people this moment were made for. So I am excited. I've personally been affected by this feedback loop of imagination and intelligence building off of one another, and it's ecstatic. It's as I said earlier, cathartic. It's almost numinous in how you feel about the world and the universe. Um, Working with these tools, and I don't know, I just wanted to share that. So like I said, if you watch this video and you can kind of get a glimpse of what I'm talking about, these feedback loops building off of each other, um, to enhance your capabilities, then you're welcome. But I just felt like that's something I should share.